start with you. Mistake for Terry Stotts to let his emotional players dictate the game plan.
Absolutely not. Smart play right now. If you're in this moment going into game 2, you saw that disengaged team go out there trying to fight through those screens up high, big man sagging, and they just look disinterested. So you know what? Coach is like, if you think I'm wrong, go out there in game 2 and prove I'm wrong. I'll buy into what you guys need. As we are all taught collectively in sports, that effort is the greatest eraser. Like, okay, coach, I messed up. I was supposed to have the B gap. Oh, I was supposed to go out there and set the screen. But if I give you 100% effort, then that can make up for all my issues. So I think this is the game plan. Like, okay, I'll concede to you guys. Show me the effort. Let's see if we win.
This is the part of the year where coaches really take players' opinion on defense and offense, especially in these series games. And it's always done after game 2 when you lose. Because
After game 1?
After game 1, excuse me, after game 1, thanks for correcting me. Because players know what they did wrong in game 1, and they out there going through it. And a lot of times, coach put game plans together. And one thing I used to like about coach and Don Nelson, before we practice the game plan, he come to his star players, or the guys that's guarding the key guys. He come to them and ask them, what do you feel comfortable doing? How do y'all feel comfortable guarding this guy? And their opinion matters, because the coach can see a lot of stuff from the sideline, but actually being out there guarding these guys and being in those coverages, the players have to be comfortable with him. I love the fact that he's not just being a stubborn coach and saying we're going to do it my way or no way. I love the fact that he's taking the players' opinion and working with them on the game plan. But it's all for nothing. They still going to lose. I don't care what they do, what game plan they come up with, who opinion they take. The outcome going to be the same.
I mean, look, Jax, you nailed it, right? I mean, like, no, both the start and the end. I mean, it's important that, yes, you have to take, and it feels like the Trailblazers players before the game said, this ain't going to work.
It looked like it, too.
Right? It looked like it ain't going to work. And by the way, they're coming off of Game 7 in altitude. Okay, they had no gas in the tank. They don't turn the ball over like that, right? So I don't think they will win that game regardless because of the short turnaround with only 1 day in between Game 7 and Game 1.
What's the right strategy?
I don't know, because you got Enes Kanter who couldn't guard this chair that I'm sitting on, right? You want to double with Enes Kanter? There's a reason. Like, Terry Stotts is not an idiot. There's a reason that Enes Kanter is not their starting big guy. Right. Anthony Slater, who asked the question, he actually wrote an article before the series began saying, can Enes Kanter even play in this series, because there's nowhere to hide him defensively,
survive, right?
It's a different matchup. Well, I think this actually is the best possible way to get the Portland Trailblazers to play above their level and play angry, play mad. Warriors play with joy. You got to play with anger, and hopefully you just get some superhuman effort from Damian Lillard.
Is he not right, though? Is Stotts not? Steph Curry's 36 points didn't beat him.
Listen, you're right, and Terry Stotts is right, but whatever the translation was, it did not go through to Damian Lillard, because he looks like he's out of gas because of the Oklahoma City series. He was 3 of 17 in Game 7. But I think Terry Stotts' strategy is actually a good one. Like, he wants to go for 40, fine. Let's cut off everybody else. They only have one other dude in the court who can score.
Houston didn't trap him, though. In that fourth quarter, Houston didn't trap him. You see, they switched everything. So it wasn't trapping in Houston when he got those points. So they need to try it, because they weren't trapping him in the fourth quarter.
And you need to try, because in the 6th game, Steph Curry shot 27% from 3 against Houston. So beating up Steph Curry is something that you need to go out there and try, especially if your players are engaged in that. And to call it emotional, to call it anything but just an assessment. And there have been many times I've sat in the game room watching film on a Monday after a game, and coach is like, my bad. I'm like, Coach, you didn't say that in Sunday for the 80,000 for millions ago.
Exactly.
But now you're bad.
Exactly.
Yeah. So sometimes as players make mistakes, let's call out a coach when he makes a mistake. And I like the fact that he's taking it back.
And some of it is also Lillard was getting trapped at the other end.
They're not good defenders. It doesn't make it like Damian Lillard is Tony Allen now.
No, he's not.
He's not a good defender.
Damian Lillard is not overrated. He is properly rated. He's an all-star, okay, but he's not as good a defender as some of the elite point guards are. And he's not a great finisher. He's not as good at he's slightly a lesser player than Steph Curry. He has the ability to look better than Russell Westbrook. There are things he does well and things he doesn't do well. But let's also remember, the makeup of this team is totally different than Houston. Houston has a bunch of like-sized dudes. They are solely built to beat the Golden State Warriors.
Yes.
And they almost did it.
Right.
That's not how Portland's beat. Portland has 2 scoring guards, and they try and put shooting all around it. It's a completely different construct of team. So the idea that they're going to do to Golden State what Houston was able to do, that's not looking at your personnel correctly.
Let's go to this level then. Is Dame Lillard too caught up in a personal battle with Steph Curry? Is that driving Portland is he caught up in a personal feud?
No, not at all. I don't see any of that. This is not OKC. This is not Westbrook who called out Dame Lillard before, so that's why it got personal. You talk about me begging to get in the All-Star game. Oh, we got smoked. You talk about Steph and you talk about Dame, that's respect. They talk to each other after the games, everything. What he's saying is, look, and I know what we're doing. We're marrying the fact that, one is a properly rated superstar and another guy is starving for that same attention. But he's talking about an assessment, X's and O's. He's talking about on the court. Let's try.
You don't think?
Let's try what worked against him
You
just
don't
in the
think
last
Dame
series.
Lillard
He wants to beat everybody.
doesn't have a little doll of Steph Curry right now that he's obsessed with?
Look at that light skin.
Playing in the Western Conference as a point guard, if you don't have a chip on your shoulder, you're gonna slide right to the bottom of the Western Conference. He should have a chip on the shoulder. And when he plays like that, he plays well. Look how he did Russ. He destroys guys. You have to take that
You don't think it
shot.
can get too personal, though?
It can get too personal, but not in the playoffs. Regular season, maybe. You have to have that chip on the shoulder in the playoffs. You have to have that kill mentality in the playoffs against everybody. He's approaching it right.
Hey, are you guys familiar? Damian Lillard's from Oakland.
Yes.
Brookfield.
Yeah. Jerome Bettis is from Detroit, too, and Ryan Fitzpatrick went to Harvard. But honestly, I actually think that kind of plays into it. Like, look, you're playing for my team in my town, and they love you and cheer for you more than they cheer for me.
Yeah.
I do think this is very much personal. And it's a hard balance, right? He has to carry this team, and he has to play angry, but you can't play too angry.
Right.
I kind of agree with you, Jace, that you can't make it. Look,
You can't play too angry. I'm a
Against
teacher
Steph
that.
and Golden State.
When I play too angry, it hurt me.
Okay,
It hurt
you
me.
can. Okay.
But hold on.
Some people
you
can't
know why
say
it hurts?
okay.
There's a magic kind of level there, right?
It's a balancing act because if it's too personal, then you're not disciplined.
On your focus, right?
You're not disciplined. Guess what?
And 7 turnovers.
Okay, 7 turnovers. Now, his first game having 7 turnovers. What you did see is his discipline to the game plan, which I know was killing him. If it was too personal, I would have bucked the game plan and got after him.
Look, a little bit. So when they're setting that high ball screen, you can't just let him keep going over the top. He goes over one way, he can't come back, and that's where Lillard kind of got exposed. Yes, you have a guy sitting down there and help. You don't have to get screened 50 times up there. Just make it one time and don't let him. So he wasn't actually as disciplined to the game plan. He didn't stay attached like he should have, and I think it frustrated him because normally when you go over the top, there's a trap. Meanwhile, at the other end, they're taking the ball out of his hands, and his own teammates couldn't make plays. And I think he played a little bit too angry, a little bit too frustrated, and they're blaming the game plan. And Terry Stotts is doing what good coaches do. He's like, "Hey, that's my bad. Let's try and figure something out." But he knows he's got a bad matchup.
He probably forgot the Warriors was that good. Maybe they forgot how good the Warriors were.
But Marcellus,
Yeah.
I think some, I won't put words in other people's mouths, but Portland's effort was not there in game 1.
Agreed.
And that's when Terry Stotts, and he's not saying it, but he's like, no, y'all really didn't try it my way.
No.
Y'all did it under protest
I'm
and
with-
didn't give me best effort.
I'm glad you said under protest.
Yeah.
We've all been there before.
Yeah.
If the producers on this show right now tell you, we're like, I need you to stay still and look in the camera one and don't move. You'd be like, I can't talk. Or you would do it with not a lot of interest. I think we saw that. Okay, you want me to go fight this screen? I'm going to fight it the same exact way. Is this textbook enough for you, Coach Stotts? What's going to happen in this game is with that concession to your players, you've engaged them. You gave them the fuel to go out there and do what they want to do. We'll see how it plays.
And another thing we're seeing, well, we haven't seen through Portland, we've seen 2 different teams in the playoffs. We've seen Dame lead the team first round. We've seen CJ lead the second time. Normally during the season, they both on the same page, both leading the team. We haven't seen that yet. So hopefully they can come together this series and play as a team because they haven't played as a team in the playoffs yet.
And the Warriors haven't even charged up the Death Star, right?
And they don't have
Like,
KD.
they don't even, like KD's sitting over there going like, man, I might not even have to come back and play, let alone DeMarcus Cousins might be able to play. They're not even charging up the Death Star, and they're still taking him out.
You may have to help me on this because I'm going solely off the top of my head in memory. And again, I don't want to compare Dame Lillard and Steph Curry to this. But Wilt Chamberlain used to get all jacked up trying to play Bill Russell because he couldn't stand Bill Russell and all the winning and the way the media lauded over Bill Russell. And it affected them when they would play each other one-on-one. And I'm telling you, what worked against Russell Westbrook, because he's a meathead, it doesn't work against Steph
KG and
Curry.
Tim Duncan. Perfect example. I'm agreeing with you.
Okay.
KG and Tim Duncan. KG used to get so worked up and try to punk Tim Duncan and bow him and all that, and it never worked. It never worked.
But this is not new. This is not new evidence. Dame Lillard didn't have a great series by his standards going against Denver last year. So let's just be real. Like, it's not just Steph landed and all of a sudden Dame Lillard got inefficient. To Coach Stotts' credit, We're down six.
No. But here's all I'm saying about Lillard, though. It's not about his individual play.
Oh, okay.
These guys believe in Dame Lillard.
Yes.
He is Avon Barksdale.
Yeah.
And everybody falls in line.
And he's so hyper-focused on winning the one-on-one battle.
And so when he's not happy.
And showing he's a tough guy.
Nobody's happy.
Yeah.
And look,
I feel you.
and like and Steph has this way of having fun, of almost making you feel he's not clowning Damian Lillard, but it makes it feel he hits a fall away jump shot from third, like anyone else. It's a bad shot. He makes it and he starts shimmying, and it gets you mad. Is he clowning me? Like, no, that's just how he plays. But it never affects Steph. He always plays at that kind of same happy, joyous level.
Oh, wait a minute. Now we're going too far.
Yeah.
We have not seen Steph Curry sulk on the court. Oh, yes, we have. We've seen him. We've seen bad
Game 3 in Houston.
Mouthpiece and a ref.
Yes.
Mouthpiece and a ref. But
LeBron swatting the dunk, and he
but
looking.
we've also, if you go back to when they played Portland, this was 2 years ago, and remember Steph missed a couple games because of injury, came back, drops 40, right? It's one of those, I'm sure if you're Damian Lillard, you're like, again with this dude? Really? Like, in my town, should have been my team.
Get off my block.
And everybody likes him,
Right.
and I want to show him, and I'm trying to be tougher than him, and that's not who Damian Lillard is.
James.